Last night, two of the top teams in the American League opened up a 4-game set and did not disappoint. It was a tie game until the 7th inning when a 2-out base hit up the middle put the Royals on top. As always, the Athletics made it interesting in the ninth, but came up short, and the Kansas City faithful went home happy. Tonight, Jon Lester takes the hill, and he has been fantastic for the green and gold. He is coming off a shutout of the Twins, and he'll look to repeat that performance here at Kauffman Stadium. Game 2, A's-Royals, next. We are at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, and it's the red-hot Royals. They've won 8 in a row. They'll throw Jeremy Guthrie today against the team with the best record in baseball, the Oakland A's. They will send their ace left-hander, Jon Lester, to the mound. So another battle between two playoff hopeful teams. It's game 2 of this big 4-game series. It's the A's and the Royals coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball, along with my broadcast partner, Ray Fosse. I'm Glenn Kuiper. Jon Lester tonight. He is facing the Royals for the 3rd time in his last 5 starts, and he has always pitched great against Kansas City.
Well, it was his first for the Athletics, and it came up against the Royals at the Coliseum on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. The only game the A's have defeated the Royals this season. Lester, his Oakland debut, the cut fastball was outstanding. Good fastball, occasional breaking pitch, but there's the cutter to backdoor. He was outstanding, had an 8-run 5th inning. I'm sure that shook him up quite a bit, but this is probably the best thing. He tipped his cap to a very appreciative crowd at the Coliseum and walked off, but he did a great job, even better, in his next start.
Well, about an hour before last night's game, we found out that the Royals had acquired Josh Willingham, and that looked like that's probably a pretty good pickup for them, and he's going to be in the lineup tonight, batting 6th and DHing.
Not surprised he got here so quickly, because he enjoys facing the Athletics. All these home runs, he's at 8 total against the Athletics since he joined the Twins a couple years ago. Of course, these were in Minnesota. You see him in the white uniform. But just as recently as Sunday against the Athletics at the Coliseum, this was a 2-run shot. It was deep to left field. But you have to look also what Lester did against the Twins. He shut them out on 3 hits. He struck out Willingham 3 times. Let's hope he can duplicate that tonight.
All right, so it should be another good ball game. Had a good one last night. The A's came up just a little bit short. Lester and Guthrie tonight in game 2 of this series. We'll head back to the A's pregame live studios for a sports update, and then come back here to Kauffman Stadium. We'll give you lineups, and we give a first pitch. It's the A's and the Royals coming up.
California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, try Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. The Royals in the all-white uniforms, blue trim. They take the field. The A's in the all-gray tonight. And it is game 2 of this 4-game series, the A's and the Royals. Check our game time weather for tonight. It's presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily, 75 degrees. Not quite as breezy as last night. So it is indeed a nice night in Kansas City. Nice and warm today, cooling off nicely into the evening. So the A's will try to bounce back after a 3-2 loss last night to the red-hot Kansas City Royals. And let's take a look at the lineup tonight for the Athletics. Fold in center, Jaso the DH, Donaldson at third, Moss in left, Norris will catch, Vogt at first, Reddick in right, Callaspo at second, and Sogard at short.
Veteran Jeremy Guthrie on the mound for the Royals. His second start in the last 10 days against the Athletics, and he beat them at the Coliseum 6 innings to pick up the win, but he also had a complete game in his last start, so he's pitching well for the Royals, but he had the perfect storm against the Athletics as he went 6, turned it over to the great bullpen. But he had a perfect game for 3 innings. Sam Fogg had a double, but the A's had a lot of opportunities against Guthrie, but he changed speeds very effectively, and the A's could not do anything offensively against him.
First pitch of the ball game is a fastball, low strike called by home plate umpire Eric Cooper, and we are underway from Kansas City. Fold, Jaso, and Donaldson for the A's here in the first. It's popped up just to our left, and it's a quick 0-2 count. Guthrie does not waste a whole lot of time. He's a get it and rock and fire guy. Cooper, Hallion, Gibson, Guccione are your umpires tonight. There's Tom Hallion. He's at first, and he's the crew chief. So that one on an 0-2 pitch. Sam Fold bounces one right up the middle, and he's got a base hit. So the A's have a base runner to start the ball game. Defense tonight for the Royals: Gordon, Kane, and Aoki in the outfield. Moustakas, Escobar, Infante, Butler on the infield, and Salvador Perez, the all-star catcher, behind the dish.
One of the things that happens when a pitcher is facing a club within such a short amount of time, try to remember the success you had and maybe change some things. But Guthrie does not change a lot because he possesses about 5 different pitches, 3 different fastballs, curveball, slider, and changeup. Jaso back in the number 2 spot in the batting order, and kind of like you noticed last night, he's back to the open stance and then closes up quickly as the ball approaches.
Well, I think what's funny about that, guys change their stances sometimes, and that's fine. But it is such a huge difference. One, you're spread out. The other one, your feet are right next to each other.
He said he was kind of messing around with it in the batting cage before the game last night, and he went back to this where he had been spread out, but he said this allows him to just drop the head of the bat on the ball by striding and getting loaded a little bit more. And I said, did it have anything to do with the power arms of the Royals? He said a little bit, because when you're spread out and you're getting a 95, 98 mile an hour fastball and you're thinking only upper body, you're not going to drive the ball that much. So this allows him to get a little bit more behind the swing. Let's hope it works out.
So 1-2 the count to Jaso with Donaldson in the on-deck circle. A's last night had a couple of runs. They had just 3 hits, 3 singles, and that was it. They did receive 5 walks, and they struck out 9 times, and that one's hit into right field, and that's a base hit. And Fold will stop at second, so a good start for the A's. Back-to-back singles.
Just as well, the fact they're both 2-strike the singles, and that's always important.
The struggling A's offense, 3.5 runs per game in their last 11 games. But off to a good start so far. An opportunity early for Donaldson. Donaldson bounces one to Moustakas, who charges, makes a nice play on a tough hop, and then retreats a couple steps and steps on third to get the force out there. That was a tough little hop, and Moustakas took care of it.
He could have played back and might not have got as good a hop, probably would not. So he takes the short hop, and you're right, that's a tough play, but he made it look easy. But you could also see where he was playing, not anticipating any bunt, which third place hitter is not going to be bunting anyway. So he was able to play back, charged it, and got what probably for him was a much better hop, and it's the force out at third.
And we talk about different hops, and it's the in-between hop that is the toughest for the infielder, not the short hop. Short hop is really actually not much of an issue, but that was that in-between hop, just a little bit of a longer hop than the short hop. Moustakas handled it well. At this level, you got to make the play, even though it's not an easy play. Here's Moss. Moss had the big 2-out 2-run single that knocked in both of the A's runs last night.
Funny how he's thinking he's been struggling, and all the numbers show that he'd been struggling. And I said, nice hitting. And he goes, you know how long it's been since somebody said that to me? Because he hadn't been swinging the bat that well, but did come up with a big 2-out 2-run single last night, which was very important to the tie game. Fortunately, the Royals scored a run with 2 outs in the 7th.
And now 3-0 Moss, and this was the base hit.
Well, the A's were down by 2, and hard throwing Ventura with a base hit. Looked like the way the second base umpire, then Tom Hallion, kind of tried to avoid being hit by the hard drive. Fortunately, it was not. Ball went in center field.
Moss let her rip on 3-0 and he fouls it to the screen. So now the count 3-1. Norris waiting in the on-base circle. Jaso at second, Donaldson at first. Who jumped out ahead last night. He's trying to do it tonight. That was on the inside. Strike 2 call. Moss not happy. That looked like it may have been off the plate inside.
An earlier pitch in the at-bat, he called off the plate. Perez outside, and he reached back, going up in the strike zone. And Brandon Moss knows the strike zone, and I think the umpire's looking right at the inside corner. Looked like it was off the plate.
3-2 pitch. That one's drilled to center field. Kane going back, still going back, and that's over his head. Up against the wall. 1 run scores, and they're going to wave Donaldson home. The throw to the plate is there, the tag, and they got it. Jaso scores, but Donaldson thrown out at the plate for the second out. Well, the runners were very close to each other. And a nice relay to get Donaldson.
But Kane threw up his glove. That should have been an indication for both runners. See Donaldson, bottom of your screen, took off. Surprising that ball took a high hop, came back to Kane, and then a strong throw to the plate. And it was the second runner that was tagged out. And Josh Donaldson tried to go around the tag of Perez, but Cooper showing that he tagged him there.
So the A's get a run, give Moss the RBI. So 1-0 in the first inning. 8-6-2 on the putout.
You know, that was a strong hit over the head of the speedy Kane center. And it was a perfect relay. 2 very good throws. Escobar with a strong throw to his catcher, and though he was up the line, the trailing runner wasn't as close to Jaso as Donaldson would like to have thought he could be, and especially for Mike Gallego, who sent both of them. And I just wonder if, from Mike Gallego's standpoint, if he actually sent both. Maybe he was waiting one and the second one saw it.
Yeah, that's a tough spot for the third base coach.
You know, you say go, and you got 2 guys listening. And how do you stop one when the other one's going as hard as he can?
3-0 pitch is in the first strike. Norris 294 with 10 home runs, 47 RBI. 0 for 4 last night. Tough night. He brought into a couple double plays. And now full count.
But he's getting a chance to play last night and tonight against 2 right-handers, and then tomorrow night you got the left-hander Vargas scheduled to pitch, and then Shields in the series finale. So we figure that he will catch tomorrow night as well, and then Jaso on Thursday afternoon in the finale.
So a run in for the A's here in the first inning. Loss is double. 3-2 pitch. 3 called on the outside corner. So Brandon Moss with the RBI double that scored Jaso. So after a half an inning from Kansas City, it's the A's 1 and the Royals nothing. As we head to the bottom of the first inning, that gentleman right there taking the selfie, Richard Puglia, who works in the offices at Comcast Sportsnet back in San Francisco, big A's fan, and he's here in Kansas City to check out the ball game.
He couldn't get anybody to take a picture of him?
No, well, he's by himself, so when you're by yourself, you got to do the selfie. Here's the Royals lineup: Aoki, Infante, Perez, Butler, Gordon, Willingham, Moustakas, Kane, and Escobar.
John Lester, his first start against the Royals, he picked up the win. Second start against the Twins, he won that one. And here he is against the Royals again 5 days after his shutout. 3-hitter against the Minnesota Twins. So 12-7 on the season, but a very good left-hander. So number 31, good cut fastball, and lefty Aoki is the first to face him.
And Lester is, well, he is just on some kind of roll. He has not lost a game since June 7th. That's stretch of 10 starts, and in those 10 starts he's 6-0. His ERA is 1.21, so you could make the case that last couple months he's pitching as well as anybody in baseball, and that includes maybe even Kershaw. Your ERA is 1.21 over a 10-start period.
And that's 65-12, 65 strikeouts, 12 walks. That's impressive.
So he faces Nori Aoki. Aoki 267 with a homer and 25 RBIs. He pinch ran last night, and he scored the go-ahead run late in the game for the Royals. Shows bunt, pulls the bat back, 2-1. Infante to follow, and then Perez for the Royals. Fielders in. Lines it right into the glove of Sogard for the first out. Defensively for the Athletics, it's Moss in left, Fold at center, Reddick in right, Donaldson, Sogard, Cayaspo, and Vogt, with Norris doing the catching. So here's Omar Infante. Royals come in with a 64-53 record. They're kind of the talk of baseball right now because of the hot stretch they're on. They've won 8 in a row, 11 out of their last 12, and 16 out of their last 19. And of course, the big story is that they are now in first place in the AL Central, half game over the Tigers. This one down the right field line. Reddick, Vogt coming together, and it drops right near the target. So the Tigers struggling. The Royals playing great. And what you got is a half-game lead for Kansas City. In the wild card, the Angels are the #1 wild card. Tigers are the #2 wild card. Mariners, Blue Jays, Yankees are close. It's still hard to believe. On July 21st, the Royals were 8 games back at Detroit. Since then, they've gone 16-3. The Tigers have gone 8-11. So they have picked up 8.5 games in 3 weeks. That is.
It's hard to believe, but you get on a nice roll. You want to continue. I think they said that it's been, 11 years since the Royals were in first place this late in the season.
Infante hit that one right off the end of the bat.
Hosmer to your right, and Raul Ibanez is off speed, the curveball, and that would be a cupped bat where he hit it right off the end and splintered it. Cup of bat to take some of the weight. You see the top of the bat, it's a lighter color. That means it's been cupped. Take some of the weight off the end. So you don't want to hit it off the end because otherwise you're going to break your bat. And this is what happens when you do get it towards the end. Basically, you're hitting about a 1/4 inch of wood, and then it's hollow.
So you keep the length and lose a little bit of weight. There's Josh Willingham in a Royals uniform for the first time, coming over in a trade yesterday. 2-2 pitch, strike 3 called on the outside corner.
Time now for the Nissan keys to the game for John Lester. How about this? KC masterpiece. We've heard that here, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Let's hope so. And no mistakes because the Royals are rolling. So you make a mistake in a short, at least a series in which you have 2 good pitching staffs. It is usually a mistake, and that's quickly forgotten, though. Backdoor curveball by Lester, a big sharp breaking curveball.
Pitch to Salvador Perez is inside. So at least very early on, and it's only the first inning, it looks like the home plate umpire Eric Cooper has a fairly generous strike zone, which I think in the long run is probably a good thing for the Athletics, because Lester's so good that if he gets a nice pitcher strike zone, he will just take advantage of it over and over and over.
But he's already thrown a backdoor curveball. He's got the backdoor cutter, and he's going to go inside. Should use both sides of the plate with a cut fastball. Missed twice inside. The first strike went back outside, and Eric Norris is going to pull back inside and back up another one in there.
That may be a broken bat. Liner into the seats.
So 3 hitters, 2 broken bats. That makes for a lot of kindling, a lot of wood for fireplaces this winter, or another load of bats.
So 2-2 the count to Perez. Perez was 0 for 4 last night. Goes outside but misses. 3-2.
Did everything with a fastball, a little cutter. Just went to his shook off a couple of fastballs. 3, I would assume, would be a, I don't know, slider, maybe the 2 and 4 seam. That's why it's tough on a catcher. Now, if you have a pitcher that has a 2-seam, 4-seam, cutter, all 3 fastball varieties, creates a lot of different signs. Going back to the same pitch.
Just got a piece of it.
Salvador Perez, an excellent catcher and also an excellent hitter. He has a what they call a team-friendly contract for several years.
Yeah, they got to him early.
Yeah, one that they'd like to make sure he stays healthy all the years that he signed, which is a long time.
Reaches for that one, hits it high and foul. His contract runs through 2016. How about this? Highest fastball percentage. Now, this includes the cut fastball. Yeah. So John Lester, 82.5% of the time he's throwing the fastball or the cutter. See Doolittle's on that list.
Surprised to see more than Bartolo Colon at the bottom of the list.
This one's popped up. Norris coming back. So you wonder, of the 82%, how many are actually cutters?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe half. Who knows?
Well, now this guy, Sean Doolittle, he throws straight fastballs.
Yeah, he's not mixing in any cutters.
No. But Hughes got a cutter. Zach Britton's a very good sinker and a cutter, so that's a 2 and a 4 seam plus cutter. Jake McGee, reliever, just rear back and throw hard. 10th pitch in the at bat.
And it's a curveball that just missed outside, and that's the pitch that if Lester gets, he will be tough.
And you see Lester had started towards the dugout. Figured Cooper called it the first time, why not the second? And Lester, watch his first move as he finishes. Think I got it, and nope. And we saw that look in his last start against the Twins. There were a few times that there were pitches that he thought should have been called strikes. But for him to throw 10 pitches and end up walking a batter, that's not good, because it's all about pitch counts. He went 122 in his last start with the 3-hit shutout.
Yeah, that was a season high 122. So here's Billy Butler, who takes the strike. 276 with 7 homers, 48 RBIs for Butler.
The nickname of Country Breakfast.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Foul ball.
Country part, you know, is right there. The breakfast part, probably there as well.
He was born in Orange Park, Florida. Lives in Scottsdale now.
Isn't everybody?
I was just thinking that.
A whole bunch of people.
Everybody lives down there. Outfield straight away. Slider. Butler's always had a pretty good idea how to hit the ball the other way.
Yeah, doubles. And that's why, look at his home runs. He's at 7, of course, on a team that doesn't hit a lot of home runs anyway. But this is a yard to hit a lot of doubles because it is big. And Moss hit a double over the center fielder's head. Center fielder with a lot of speed.
Pitch is fouled straight back. Fastball right out over the plate. Butler this year has 26 doubles.
But a pitcher likes to get a couple of strikes on a hitter and then put him away with a put away pitch. Lester has the pitches to do it, but in this game so far, the second, third, and fourth hitter, a total of 6 foul balls after getting 2 strikes on the hitter. 4 to Perez is at first.
That one's hit to right. Reddick back. And he turns around, stops, makes the catch, side retire. So the Royals do not score, and John Lester's going to have a little chat with Aaron Cooper. How about that? Stephen Vogt's going to lead it off when we come back.
That's great, Kai. You know, maybe let's consider this. Enter for a chance to win a Friday night fireworks experience as the A's and Phillies game. That's on September the 19th, presented by State Farm. You'll have VIP access the whole night, throwing out the ceremonial first pitch to MVP infield seats. Finally, a special fireworks viewing area on the field. Enter at winwithstatefarm.com/Oakland A's. That's a good one, man. That's special.
The last
VIP
Saturday
night.
home.
That's right.
Stephen Vogt, Josh Reddick, Alberto Callaspo for the A's here in the second inning. And it's 1-2 to Vogt.
And you look at the first inning, what the A's did. A whole lot of activity, scoring just one run.
Yeah.
So really, A's 3 hits and a run, but the Royals had to feel pretty good about it, giving up just the 1 run.
Vogt lifts one toward left center field. Gordon on the run, and he is going to track it down. And that is a nice play by Gordon.
Long run, but always the advantage for left fielder, the left-handed hitter. The ball slicing back, and it just would not hook. Instead, sliced right to Gordon, who covers a lot of ground, and made another Gold Glove play. That's a big play because that's extra bases, at least 2 for Stephen Vogt. Like to hit that one more towards center field, have it slice into the left field gap.
So here's Reddick with 1 out.
At that point, it looked like he wasn't going to get to it, but it came right back to him and made a nice play out of it.
Reddick swings and misses. 1-1 the count. Reddick with a shot foul.
As the bullpens have flip-flop here at Kauffman Stadium with the A's at right field, where the A's dugout at third base can see down in the corner, and vice versa for the Royals in left field. So the Royals dugout can see. A lot of times they're usually on the same side, and you have to look down, but it's very easy to call down and see who's getting up to throw.
Pitch is high, and now it's 3-2. Guthrie threw 20 pitches in the first inning. Now pitch to Reddick is bounced to Butler. Butler contributing hot. Guthrie to the bag, and that's the second out. So Ray, interesting thing happened last night on the final out. Watch Gerard Dyson. He does a backflip. And watch, which that's pretty awesome when guys can do that. But and listen, I think a lot of people thought, well, he's kind of showing everybody up, but there's a little bit of an explanation to it, and I know we talked a little bit about it earlier. Yeah,
the guys had been on him because he is able to do that, a la Ozzie Smith, the Hall of Fame shortstop, who always took the field and did a backflip. But evidently the players for the Royals had encouraged him to do that, and he said, if I catch the final out of a game, obviously winning, I'll do it. But that should have been talked about a lot more than just him doing a backflip after they got into first place, because everybody thought he was just so excited, as the Royals were, for getting into first place with 45 or so games to go, which is not a very good thing to do. But there was more behind it, like you said. And somebody also said that's the excitement of the 50th round draft choice. Just barely got into the big leagues and worked his way here.
So 1-2 to Callaspo.
Can you do that?
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't try.
That would be a no.
I wouldn't try it if I was standing on something.
I mean,
you know, much less standing on flat ground and then doing it.
Just marvel at people that can do that, just standing flat-footed and just do it. Two and 2 to Callaspo, 231 his average, 3 home runs, 34 RBIs. Lines one right to Moustakas, He reaches up, grabs it, side retired. Guthrie has a 3-up, 3-down inning, and we're headed to the bottom of the second. It'll be Gordon, Willingham, and Moustakas for Kansas City. When the game stands tall in theaters starting August 22nd. Now that's the story about De La Salle High School football.
Yeah, how about that?
Check it out.
Dale Swaim, of course, the bench coach or the hitting coach now for the Royals, but up in Pinole, he was telling me about it. He said, heck, when I played against them, they were bad. They were horrible. He said, and then they won all these consecutive games. So, yeah, it was good to. I had seen like the previews of that, but it was not talked about with De La Salle. I was talking about the winning streak, but there's only one 20, 15 years or so, never losing. So it can only be De La Salle. That's nice.
In Concord, right off Treat Boulevard. Slider, and Gordon swings and misses. Quick 0-2. Gordon, Willingham, and Moustakas here in the bottom of the second inning. Gordon 279 with 12 home runs, 53 RBIs. Fastball outside. Speaking of Dale Swaim, I was looking through the media guide and realized that their coaching staff, the Royals coaching staff, is full of Bay Area guys, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Inside corner, strike 3 called. Good pitch by Lester, and that's out number 1.
Now, Don Wakamatsu is Josh Willingham. Take his first bat as a member of the Royals, but this little cut fastball started inside, right down the middle of the plate, freezing. Next, left-handed hitter, and we got one of those wows. But Don Wakamatsu, Doug Henry, Dale Swaim, and Ned Yost. Yost was a little bit ahead, and Don Wakamatsu said, I didn't even know it as well as a bench coach. He said, until I interviewed the job as a bench coach and found out that Ned Yost played a little bit ahead.
What a surprise. Willingham on the first pitch he sees lines one into the left field corner, and Willingham first pitch in a Royals uniform, he whacks a double, and he's getting a standing ovation, and that should make Josh Willingham feel pretty good.
Well, as we said over the weekend, he was talking about not having the opportunity to play for a winner. Well, he's got the chance now. Went back door, but left it up, and Willingham always aggressive, as we have seen him facing the Athletics. So he jumps on one. Good news, stayed in the park. It seems like every time he hit a ball hard, it left the playing field.
So that's the first hit for the Royals. Here's Moustakas. Moustakas chases that slider.
Really Lester would, I'm sure, admit and agree that the pitch he threw to Willingham was not a good pitch. Left it up, middle of the plate. Stock is a left-hander, and then Kane will be behind him. So if you have some true lefties in the lineup facing Jon Lester tonight.
And that one outside. You know, talking about Wakamatsu and Doug Henry. Doug Henry, the bullpen coach. They're both from Hayward, and they were teammates at Arizona State.
Yeah. Ned Yost was a little bit ahead of these guys, but Don talked about the late Sam Berkovich and how he provided all the facilities, equipment, everything for the players to play. And boy, what a Kurt Flood was part of that, and just an assortment. Randy Johnson was in the league and the team, and some great players.
One pitch, slider, and good. Ned Yost from Dublin.
Yep. I think the thing that Don Wakamatsu said, and it says a lot about Sam Berkovich, and the fact that he said we'd show up and play and didn't have to pay one penny. And Fox says now he's got
a little different now.
Yeah, he said he's got a son traveling, and he said I'm spending a lot of money for him to play.
Oh yeah.
But they grew up never having to pay a penny, which is a credit to late Sam Berkovich. Too late. And he did exactly that.
Lester launched it into the net behind home plate.
In reality, it's a bad late call for an umpire to do that. If he's in a set position, got his head away. But the best thing for Jon Lester is to throw that, because the worst thing is to stop and try to stop your throw. And once time is called, it's a dead ball. So you can do anything you want. And I think it's always better for a pitcher to continue his delivery, not take the chance of trying to stop and hurt himself.
And Stockton swings and misses. So Lester gets a big strikeout. His third strikeout.
I think Lester was a little upset throwing this pitch, and Moustakas had to deal with it because that was an unhittable pitch for a lefty, especially breaking away from a left-hander.
Now, there is no doubt, and we notice it now more because we see Lester pitching for the A's. He is a significant presence on the mound.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not just, I mean, he's a big guy, big, strong guy. It's just, boy, it's almost hard to explain, but it's just kind of the way he walks around.
Well,
he seems to have everything in charge. I said it on the, I said it recently. I said he walks around like John Wayne a little bit, you know, where he's in charge, he knows it, and you may not want to mess with him.
Thank you. I think that's exactly right. Great assessment of the A's lefty.
Fastball outside, 1-1 count.
Well, I think, as he explained to us, when Dozier hit the near home run for the Twins and almost a 3-run home run, and he said I started to pitch carefully to him after that. And that's the ability of a pitcher to try to get him to hit his pitch, which he said I want him to hit my pitch. Ended up walking him, got the next guy out.
So 2-1 count. Lorenzo Cain, a 301 hitter. Cain has been very good with runners in scoring position this year. Lions went foul. He's hitting .341. 30 hits and 88 bats with men in scoring position. So this is what Lester did at the end of the first inning. Final out, and he goes right to the home plate umpire, and he wants to chat with him
about the curveball that he didn't call on Salvador Perez. And you see Cooper shaking his head saying no, but he got the answer. Maybe not what he wanted, but he got an answer.
And it wasn't one of those walk by, hey, was it outside? I mean, they stood there and they talked for maybe 10, 12, 15 seconds about probably that pitch.
Well, and Eric Cooper probably said, John, I think it went around the plate, and that's why I called it a ball. And that was a 3-2 curveball to Salvador Perez, third hit of the game for the Royals.
2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And a good pitch. And Kane strikes out. So Willingham is stranded at second base. 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings for Lester.
Live streaming sports service is now available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit athletics.com for details. Man's good. John Lester is very good.
4 strikeouts early for Lester. And for the A's, it'll be Sogard, Fold, and Jaso here in the top of the 3rd. Guthrie has 1 strikeout. Sogard hitting .213 with a homer and 14 RBIs. Close pitch, a bit inside. Big hop for Infante.
August 1st at the Coliseum, the start of the 10-game homestand, did not start that great for the Athletics. For Jeremy Guthrie, it did, as he went 6 innings. 3 innings, first 3 were perfect. And then Sam Fuld with a double in the 4th, but he had his pitches working. And they changed speeds, but also worked very quickly. One of the things that happened, even though the A's had runners in scoring position, he got out of the jams and then turned it over to the bullpen, and they did their work as usual. And 1-0 victory for the Royals and Guthrie, who asked him about turning his back, which he does a little bit more right there. You'll see him turn, which a lot of pitchers are doing now. Well, I didn't face the A's last year, so it's something I've been doing. But it worked well for him. 4-4 career. Baltimore, Cleveland, Denver.
2nd year of a 3-year contract for Guthrie that he re-signed with the Royals. 1-2 pitch to Sam Fuld. Broken bat, slowly hit. Shortstop Escobar has it, fires to first, fires wide, and Fuld is aboard. And Fuld is going to round first, and he's going to head to second, and that's where he's going to end up. It was a broken bat. There's a couple of chunks of the bat laying around home plate.
Well, amazingly, Sam Fuld got out of the box as quickly as he did, considering all all those splinters going out, and Escobar had to hurry, throw well off line. But you won't see somebody in this picture, and it's called the catcher, Salvador Perez. And usually the catcher's backing up. And, you know, if he's backing up, he'd have to hustle down the line. But this ball getting past Butler did not go into the dugout, so the ball is in play. But if the catcher's backing up, he might keep Fold at first base. It's recorded as a two-base error on Escobar. And on defensive catchers, a lot of times they don't back up because the accuracy of the infielders, but it takes a quick throw offline, and usually that's when it happens. And again, I mean, he'd have to really bust it hard down, but you see catchers do that. Catching every day as Perez is, maybe he won't do it as often. One of the worst catch was old Tiger Stadium. So much foul territory, and you just knew that if you didn't get down to back up as a catcher, the ball got by. Oh, you never wanted it to happen. There's a Coliseum, a lot of foul territory too. You see right fielders, second baseman try to back up.
It's almost like at the Coliseum, everybody needs to
exactly
heads up.
But you know, it's unfortunate for a catcher the one time he doesn't do it. You know, this throw came kind of this direction, so if he's backing up, he might get there quickly enough, and Fold sees him. He took that route that took him into the outfield grass. But Perez is an everyday catcher, wants to catch every day, and at times like that, he feels he can save a little bit on his legs.
0-2 pitch, very close, but inside, 1-2.
Tried to get it to come back with a two-seam fastball, and Perez outside brought the catcher's mitt back towards the inside.
Upstairs, and Jaso chased it. So 2 away here in the third.
Upstairs, out of the strike zone. Looks so good, and Jaso knew it. We talked about handling the low fastball. That one was up out of the zone, and no chance to catch up to it.
So Donaldson steps in. Donaldson reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning and then was thrown out trying to score on Moss's double. Jaso did score on the double. Well, the Angels will open up their short 2-game series against the Phillies tonight. C.J. Wilson starting for the Angels. And he's become an important guy for the Angels. Important because he has not pitched very well, and he really does need to pitch well. So we'll see if C.J. Wilson, see how he pitches tonight. Again, that's just a 2-game series between the Phillies and the Angels. The A's with a 3.5-game lead over the Angels.
Angels were off yesterday and will be off Thursday while the A's are playing straight through, but the A's will be off next Monday and next Thursday. So that's probably how quickly the Angels will make up those 2 games. You know, Tyler Skaggs also got Tommy John surgery, lefty that was in the rotation. So the A's, who have lost 2 starters this year to Tommy John, A.J. Griffin and Jared Parker, both go along the same program to get back pitching again. A's have brought in some new pitchers, and Jesse Chavez out of the bullpen in the starting rotation. Now he's back there.
1-2 pitch where there's so many injuries this year around Major League Baseball. It may be the team that has the fewest injuries that has the best chance.
Or the team that can acquire players when they do have injuries.
To Donaldson, and he lines on the right. We got a hit. Here comes Fold. Here comes the throw to the plate, and it is late. And Fold gets in just ahead of the tag of Perez. Donaldson goes to second, and it's 2-0 Athletics. Aoki made a good throw, just a little bit late, and a big 2-out hit from Donaldson.
A great inside-out swing by Donaldson, and stayed inside with the ball going to right field. Look at the shift. Look what the second baseman was playing. So the hole's there. And Aoki charged recently 2 assists in 1 game. This throw all the way to the plate. And Fold with the 2 outs, breaking on contact again. Able to score. And another big 2-out hit. And Kipe, I think we can look back to last night. The mistake made by the A's. An unearned run. The A's unearned run in this inning with Sam Fold reaching on the error by Escobar. So A's coming through. Take the unearned run.
So RBI number 81 for Donaldson. The other one. Pickoff and a very close play at second base. Donaldson just got back. Well executed pickoff by the Royals. It's all about timing, and that was pretty good timing.
And that's all the daylight play, and for Guthrie to look back, Donaldson was kind of leaning towards third. Just barely got his right hand in. See, that's where if an infielder can get him back, put his knee down, he can block the runner getting back, sliding head first.
Speed pitch, foul tip, 1-1 the count to Moss. Moss's double in the first inning was over the head of center fielder Lorenzo Cain.
Once again in this inning, Fold reaching on the air, of course, but with 2 strikes. Donaldson getting hit with 2 strikes in the first inning. 3 hits, all with 2 strikes. The A's working, but not giving up when a couple of strikes are up.
Moss way out in front, 2-2 the count. Moss's RBI in the first inning was his 75th of the year. "56 pitches already for Guthrie. Pitch is hit toward left field. Gordon coming in. He's going to have to play it on a couple of hops, and that's going to be another run for the A's as Donaldson comes in to score. Moss with the 2-out RBI hit, and now it's 3-0.
And another 2-strike hit. It's almost like Brandon Moss had to foul one off to get the 2 strikes in. Comes through again. So a couple of runs driven in. Fastball away, stayed on it, broke his bat maybe towards the end, but softly enough to land in front of the Gold Glove outfielder. And the A's played another run. Yep, sounded like another cracked bat. Steve Vucinich loves to hear the sound of the cracked bat and see the result of a base hit driving in a run. He'll take that anytime.
So the air is really looming large now.
Good point, because that's turned it into a 2-run inning.
So an air and then 2 2-out hits. So here's Norris. Norris was called out on strikes to end the first inning. Foul ball. Stockus on the backhand.
I was thinking about the series against the Royals at the Coliseum. That was Gray, Lester, Kazmir. So in this series, Gray, Lester, Kazmir, and then Samardzija. So that would be one more because it's a 4-game series. But the A's are seeing the same pitchers they saw back there. There's Steve Vargas and then Shields. But sometimes the similarity of seeing a pitcher so recently, either the pitcher will change what he's doing, or the hitters at least will understand what got them out. Guthrie pitched very well against the A's in Oakland, but tonight the A's are working him well, especially getting hits for 2 strikes. Maybe they learned something from facing him on August the 1st, and today, 12 days later.
So now it's 2-2. Pitch count now over 60 for Guthrie. Swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt. Side retired, but a good inning for the A's. They take advantage of an error and they score twice. So 3-0 Athletics after 2.5. Now this was the play on August 4th when Lowry baseball got him in that right index finger, and it's been bothering ever since. And if you're just joining us, Jed had an MRI today, and there's a little hairline fracture that was revealed.
That's why you don't get an MRI. He played before results. No, he's gonna play. I mean, he'll play through it. Play some, but I mean, Nick Punto is already on the disabled list. And you can see the right index finger and has the skin color tape on it, but he does feel it.
Lester grabs it, underhands, and Escobar is retired. Yeah, so we'll see just how Jed Lowry does when he does play. But it was bothering him, and again, a hairline fracture on the tip of his finger.
I asked Mike Gallego about it, and of course, an infielder that he was, and as we talked last night, when you just touch it, you feel it. And now that he knows there's a hairline fracture, then he knows there's been a pain. It's been painful for a reason, and it's confirmed. But you know, any other finger except the index finger, maybe in the middle finger, you don't want that one, but it's the index. So if you're a right-handed thrower and you have to put the ball in the hand to throw it, you're going to feel it when you squeeze the ball.
And he was changing his hand. He may have to continue to keep it that way, but as he's hitting, he's not really wrapping that finger around the bat. He's almost holding it kind of straight out, which is a little different. But indeed, he's going to play through it. 1-1 to Aoki, who hit a line drive to Sogard, the shortstop, in his first at bat. Donaldson, guys can't get it. Sogard does it. The back end, his throw is not in time. Nice play by Sogard, but Aoki gets out of the box quickly, and he's got a hit.
A whole bunch of infield hits, and another one there with the ball going to the shortstop. And Donaldson with the dive once he got past him. Sogard, a great play, no chance to throw out the speed of the Aoki. And I mean, he's running out of the box as soon as he hits it. Plus his speed helps him. And that's the Ichiro of the Royals.
So a 1-out single. That's the second hit off Lester. And here's Omar Infante. Infante struck out looking in the first inning. First pitch strike. Infante was 1 for 4 last night. Aoki is a stolen base threat, although I don't know that he would be going down 3-0. Never know, though. It's early. It is a big part of the Royals' offense is using their speed. To Reddick, who goes back, and he's got it for the second out.
The thing about Lester, he seems to alter his delivery to the plate. He'll go quick, use a high leg kick, use a slide step, and then throw over to first. So that always kind of disrupts a runner first base. I did talk to Rusty Kuntz. We were talking last night, first base coach for the Royals, with a stopwatch, and I said, every time you looked at that stopwatch last night with Sonny Gray, you kept telling the runner no. He said, he laughed. He said, Sonny Gray's got a pretty quick move to first base. And I said, yeah, we've seen it. But that's the stopwatch, and he will time the delivery of the pitcher. Sonny Gray's very quick. Lester, left-handers, just as good.
So here's Salvador Perez, who had a long at bat in the first inning that resulted in a walk. Pitch there right on the outside corner. 92 miles an hour from Lester.
One thing good pitchers will do, with the plate being 17 inches wide, they will eliminate the inside or the middle of the plate. If they go 2 inches outside, 2 inches inside, you can do the math and see it's part of the plate they don't even like to think about going to. If you work both sides of the plate and eliminate the middle, you're going to have a lot of success. So look at the location north inside. Big swing and no contact by Perez. Great location inside. Plus, he can take the same pitch and throw it backdoor and freeze the right hander.
Bounce slowly toward Donaldson, who charges. He'll go to second, side retired. So a 1-out single, nothing else for the Royals, and we're on to the fourth. 3-0 Athletics. Based on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Sonoma Raceway. The Verizon IndyCar Series returns to Sonoma Raceway on August 22nd through the 24th for the GoPro Grand Prix of Sonoma. Looking into Kauffman Stadium from, well, that would be way out past right field. On a nice night in the Midwest.
Someplace in the outfield, the TV crew for the Kansas City Royals working tonight. Ryan Lefevre and the Rex Hudler. There's someplace out there.
Told me where they were too, and I don't remember now. There they are. There they are, out left center field.
And the radio guys are in diamond level, or diamond area, I think, down below.
All right. Left center field for the TV guys.
Rex Hudler went out there, and he's standing there watching. And there's the radio. Steve Fiziak.
Line drive left center field, a base hit. Gordon picks it up, and he gets it back in, and Vogt has a single.
Escobar just late enough with his reaction, and ball is past him very quickly. Stephen Vogt opposite field hitting. Look where Escobar's playing, and he reacted late. I mean, that's almost like he didn't pick up the ball off the bat. And sometimes the anticipation really helps you as an infielder. And Sogard did last night with the line drive, but Vogt staying inside, going opposite field. Another opposite field hit for the Athletics.
So 6 hits now for the A's. Here's Reddick. Reddick's been swinging the last couple nights like he wants to hit one over that Budweiser sign in right field.
But he's hitting second last night, back down to 7th in tonight's game.
That one right there, right?
That's a big, long way sign away.
That's a 500-footer there.
I think Giancarlo Stanton could hit it.
Well, that's true. He could probably go the other way and do it.
We were at Miami and saw how big that place is, and he hit a couple of home runs, or at least one. He's at something like 9 over 450 feet.
And that one is dropped into right center field. That's a base hit. Vogt's going to round second, and he's going to go to third, and Reddick has a hit. And again, the A's are in business. First and third, nobody out.
And another 2-strike hit. He swings big, gets a couple of strikes, and shortens his swing. Nice hit to right field, and he'll take it. Okay, no chance to throw out Vogt, who goes to third very quickly.
So here's Callaspo. Callaspo hits it hard right to second. It's going to be a double play, but a run is going to come in to score. That's Vogt, so it's 4-0, the A's lead. Well, Callaspo hit that ball very hard, but it was right at Infante. I think, Ray, at this point, the way Lester is pitching, every single run that you can add on, I think is huge. I mean, a 4-0 lead certainly doesn't mean the game's over. I'm just saying 4-0 lead with Lester the way he is rolling along. You're in a good spot.
He shut out the Twins 3-0 on a 3-hit shutout. So I agree with you, and that's what the A's, of course, always want to do for every pitcher. But tonight they're doing it for Lester, and of course Guthrie was very sharp. 3 hits in 6 innings against the Athletics.
Butler grabs the line drive, so Sogard is retired. A run on a couple of hits for the A's. Bottom of the 4th coming up. It's now 4-0, the A's lead.
How about this? John Lester pitches a no-hitter at Fenway Park against the Kansas City Royals. Did it on 130 pitches, walking only 2, striking out 9. It was the first no-hitter by a Red Sox left-hander since Mel Parnell in 1956. So John Lester, a no-hitter at Fenway. And Cap, I think the point you brought up about David Price and Lester, and the fact that Lester pitching at Fenway Park, he pitches a no-hitter, left-hander. That's very hard to do, but that's the lowest ERA versus Kansas City Royals. 165. Teddy Higuera. Pretty good numbers for John Hiller, of course. Roger Clemens.
So Lester to face Billy Butler, Alex Gordon, and Josh Willingham. Well, it was during A's pregame live where we kind of talked briefly about kind of the feeling around baseball leading up to the trade deadline, and all the talk was about David Price. And granted, I think the reason for that was because it was clear that David Price was on the trade block. John Lester not so much. But
yeah, because the Red Sox were trying to sign him.
Exactly.
They wanted to sign him long term.
You know, that's the main reason why most of the talk was about David Price.
Yeah,
but the point we were making was that now that the trades have been made, I think Lester was probably the best pitcher out there that was acquired in the trade. And that's nothing against David Price, who's terrific.
And Dave Dombrowski, the president general manager of the Tigers, knows that he has David Price for next year.
Yeah.
A free agent after that next year.
And that raises Price's attractiveness to a team a little bit more, because you will have him next year. But just from pure resume, boy, it's really tough to top John Lester. And because you got the postseason stuff in there with Lester, where he's been very, very good. Swing and a miss, struck him out. And that is 5 strikeouts now for Lester.
Wow.
But the ERA since June 1st, 1.58 for Lester. And he has just been terrific.
Think you could win a world championship with that rotation?
Yeah.
That would be pretty good. But I think, and we've talked to some people, and I know talked to people on other clubs who've said that John Lester's a free agent. They said no matter what it takes, you pay it and sign it, because that's Lester's the type of pitcher you'd like to have on your staff, regardless of the staff you have. And I think the A's already with a very good pitching staff, and now they add Lester on top of that, makes it even stronger.
1-1 to count, and it looks like he's got a good slider to air. I don't think that's the cutter. It looks like the slider is using more. Slider, curveball.
Yeah, he's kind of slurve, I guess, in between the slider and the curveball. It has a little bit more of a dip bite to it. There's a cutter.
So 1-2 to Alex Gordon, who struck out looking in the second inning.
This one breaking away, and as Gordon does make contact, but it was a late swing. Should be a curveball.
This time Gordon lays off. Swing and a miss. Fastball, that was right by him, and that's 6 strikeouts for Lester. More goodies on this 10 start stretch that Lester is on. The last 10 starts is in gold, so you look at the average versus fastball, way down. Slugging percentage, line drive percentage. Just the average versus fastball, look at the difference. When that 10-game stretch started, Lester's ERA was at 3.52. He got knocked around by the Tigers, gave up 5 runs in 4 1/3 innings, gave up 12 hits. That's hard to imagine him giving up 12 hits in 4 1/3 innings, but he did. And so his average, or his ERA, was at 3.52, and that is when he started this terrific run he is on. And he's dropped his ERA all the way down to 2.44.
This is a curveball, and it's not where Derek Norris caught it, it's where it crossed the plate. And actually, there have been some people making comments about catchers catching the ball that's close to the ground, but still a pretty good curveball. Willingham receiving pitches in this at bat much different than the first one he saw. His first at bat, kind of a hanging slider.
And another breaking ball, and Lester strikes out the side. He's got 7 strikeouts in 4 innings, and he's in control. The A's leading 4-0.
If you aren't an A's season ticket holder, you can still get 2014 postseason rights. Place a deposit on a 2015 A's ticket plan and secure your place in line for 2014 postseason tickets. For more information, call it 510-638-GO-A's or go to athletics.com/deposit. As always, the ticket people waiting to take your orders, and that is a special deal because crowds are getting bigger at the Coliseum. Getting a chance to see a very good Oakland A's team playing at the Coliseum. And we hope you're watching on Comcast Sportsnet California as well, because this team is good, and getting a chance to see them and to have a chance to still get postseason tickets, and also look forward to great baseball even next year.
Top of the order for the A's as Sam Fuld gets his 3rd at bat. He has singled, and he has reached on an error, and he has scored a run. The error was costly for the Royals. It was a slow ground ball to Escobar that he threw wide at first. It would have been the 2nd out of the inning. The A's had a runner at 2nd, and then we got a couple 2-out hits. Fuld is on base again. Strokes went into right field for a base hit.
If you think about it, the end of July, the Minnesota Twins were here. This is the 12th of August. So coming back to play the Royals, Sam Fuld as a member of the A's, and coming back to join the Royals, Josh Willingham, who played against him. That's how recently the Twins were here. Both those players, member of the Von Gardenhire team. Sam Fuld back with the A's. Willingham was with the A's before or during the 2011 season.
And now Jaso rips one to right center. He's got a hit. And Fuld will hustle to 3rd. And again, the A's have 1st and 3rd, nobody out, and they now have 9 hits off Guthrie.
The fastball this time was down lower, and John Jaso didn't waste any time attacking this one. And there's the speed of Kane to cut the ball off, keeping it from going into right center or to the wall, but full great speed to get to third.
Well, there's going to get some action in the bullpen for the first time as Aaron Crow gets up, and he's warming up quickly. Donaldson, a fielder's choice and an RBI single into third, and he drives one to center. Kane going back, still going back, squares up, he's got it. Plenty deep for Full to come in to score, so another good at bat by an A's hitter. It's going to be a sacrifice fly for Donaldson, and it's 5-0.
Always the importance of a runner going from first to third instead of stopping at second, and that's why Josh Donaldson can drive him in with a fastball middle of the plate. Definitely was deep enough, just to question whether it's going to carry over the head of Kane.
So Donaldson with a couple of RBIs tonight. He's got 82 on the year, and here's Moss. Moss has had a couple of huge hits. Double in the first to knock in a run, a single in the third to knock in a run. And he bunts, and that's going to be a hit. A thing of beauty for Moss. Of course, the shift was on, nobody over there, and it's the third hit of the inning.
Just square around and sacrifice, except just push it and keep it on the grass. Guthrie hustling over, thinking it might be a play at second. He came up looking to second base, but the shift, take it. You keep shifting, you keep doing it. Maybe it'd be just enough. Josh Reddick said actually after he bunted in Oakland, the Twins changed their philosophy. They didn't shift as much and open up the middle of the infield, which he got burned a couple of times.
So here's Norris. Norris takes the first pitch strike. So Jaso to second, Moss at first. And a run in for the A's here in the fifth. The inning they did not score in was the second when they were retired in order by Guthrie. Guthrie has thrown quite a few more hittable pitches tonight than he did in that start against the A's at the Coliseum.
And I don't think he's changing speeds as much as he did in that start against the A's. And it's affecting him tonight because he's throwing fastballs, and the A's are getting good counts, so it's kind of forcing them to throw more fastballs.
So now Norris behind in the count, 1-2. Norris tonight has struck out twice. Reaches for that one, hits one into the upper deck. So 83 pitches for Guthrie. He has had to spend a good share this evening in the stretch. 10 hits for the Athletics.
He just said second sign. He just quickly, or maybe he told him what the pitch was, what he wanted to throw.
Missed outside, 2-2 to count.
Sometimes a pitcher will get the catcher's attention and tell him verbally or mouth it to him without going through the signs. And good hitters sometimes are aware and they watch it, just try to pick something up.
2-2 pitch, a foul tip, swing and a miss by Norris. So Norris strikes out for the third time. I think he had that look at his face like, how did I not hit that?
Right on it, right through it. checking his bat, see if they had a hole in it. Hank Aguirre, the Tigers many years ago, took a picture for Topps baseball cards, and he was such a bad hitter. They drilled a hole.
That's a good idea.
And it hit in the barrel of his bat. He took a picture of it. Said, "That's how bad of a hitter you are."
So if somebody yelled, "Hey, what, you got a hole in your bat?" you could say, "Yeah, look,
here it is."
0-1 the count to Vogt, who singled and scored in the 4th inning. In the 2nd inning, he hit a ball to left center, hit it well, but Gordon made a nice running catch. One to Vogt is a fastball inside. A little flare, and that's going to be another hit for the A's, and that's going to be another run. Jaso comes around to score. So Vogt with a bloop RBI single, 6-0, the A's lead.
I say something about Brandon Moss and bunting against the shift, but in this case, put a runner in scoring position, and Stephen Vogt brought him home, and they'll take it.
So that is going to do it for Jeremy Guthrie. The final hit he allows tonight is that single. So Guthrie is gone, and he goes 4 2/3 innings. Aaron Crow coming in. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
Backpack presented by Ubisoft. When the A's take on the Angels Sunday, August 24th, this unique backpack is designed by pitcher Sean Doolittle and Brian Cook. 10,000 fans will receive the backpack upon entry, so be sure to get your tickets now at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 877-493-BALL. The A's bullpen unicorn backpack presented by Ubisoft. Look for your dream job at ubi.com.
Well, the A's knock Guthrie out here in the 5th inning. As Reddick steps in against the new pitcher, Aaron Crow. And that one hit to right field. Aoki comes in. He's got it, and that will do it for the A's, but they score a couple of runs on 4 singles and a sacrifice fly. 6-0, the A's lead.
He's got on the board. Brandon Moss to center field over Keene's head. 2 runs would try to score. Only 1 does as Donaldson tagged out on the back end by Perez. But Donaldson comes through with a big hit to right field, driving home a run. Aoki with a throw to the plate could not get Sam Fuld. Fuld been on base 3 times. But John Lester has been outstanding again as he continues to strike out batters. A couple of innings he struck out the side. And so far through 4 innings, just a couple of hits, 7 strikeouts for the A's left end.
Sam Fuld, the big night. Been on base all 3 times, couple of runs scored. And Lester on cruise control. He struck out the side in the 4th inning. He's got 7 strikeouts and 1 walk through 4 innings. He's given up a couple of hits. And the breaking ball's been good for him tonight.
Start against the Royals at the Coliseum. His first start at member of the Athletics. Of course, the A's had the big 8-run 5th inning. And at the time, the A's were trailing by 1 run. Sac fly plated the Royals' run. And then in the inning in which he came out, he'd given up a couple of runs, but that was after getting the big lead. This inning starts with 3-0 count to the left-hander Moustakas.
3-0 pitch is low, and a 4-pitch walk to Moustakas.
Well, Jeremy Guthrie, forearm shift to the Gatorade cooler, or ice, or water, or whatever. And I'm sure the competitor that he is, he wanted to come into this game and continue the role for the Royals, especially after they took over first place last night with the Tigers losing and the Royals winning. But didn't give up 6 runs. The A's taking advantage of a lot of pitches thrown by Guthrie.
So here is Lorenzo Cain. The Royals have their leadoff man on for the first time. And that pitch right in there, first strike. Set it up. Sorry about that.
Jason Vargas leaning over the rail said, "Okay, just don't have it hit me."
Cain hits it hard, fair, down the third base line. Moustakas is headed for third, and they're going to hold him up there. And Lorenzo Cain has a double. Second and third, nobody out.
Breaking ball again, staying out. And Lester did not have the sharp break on it. And Cain just shooting it past Donaldson at third. Dive, actually a fall of the dive. See the ball gets stuck underneath the padding down the left field line, so that part of the old stadium remains.
So here's Alcides Escobar, first real threat, although the Royals did have Willingham at second with 1 out in the second inning. It's really the second threat against Lester. But here's second and third, nobody out. And the first pitch to Escobar is in on the hands, and he rolls it foul.
Now Donaldson at third base is even with the bag. Now he's not there because a couple of runners on base, but he's there because of the speed of Escobar and the possibility of a bunt. But it could help if the ball's hit in his direction to keep Moustakas at third base. You know, in the contact, the ball hit to Donaldson, and you get it easily at the plate.
And now it's 0-2, so Lester jumps out ahead.
Actually, look at the A's infield with the exception of Sogard. Now they'll move back a little bit, but Basbo and Bolt on the right side playing kind of halfway. And Donaldson, of course, even on the bag, as I mentioned, but Sogard playing in his normal position. A 6-run lead, a couple of runners on. Last thing you want to do is worry about a runner at the plate. You want to be able to stop a ball, keep a big inning from developing.
Aoki will be next. 0-2 pitch is hit in the air to Reddick, who backs up sets up, and Moustakas is coming home. In fact, both runners are going to tag. The throw's going to go to third. It's late. So it's a sacrifice fly for Escobar. And the Royals are on the board. It's now 6-1. So Escobar gets his 37th RBI. Remember, he had a couple RBIs last night. So that'll bring up Aoki. And the infield comes about halfway in. Well, Sogard actually backs up to a fairly normal spot. Corner infielders in. Callaspo in about halfway.
Actually, Aoki could bunt more for a base hit and still score the runs, and the A's would have to try to get him at first.
Aoki a line out to short and a single. Kane, the runner at third. The first pitch is foul back. Leadoff man, and a tough guy to strike out. He's only struck out 37 times this year. And that's in 347 at bats. Pitch grounded slowly to Sogard. He charges, double clutch, and he throws it away. And it's into the seats, and Aoki's going to have second base. The run comes in to score, and now it's 6-2. Sogard had a little double clutch, and then he really had no chance to get Aoki, but he threw it anyways, and he sailed it over the head of Vogt.
Well, at that point, he probably should just eat it and not throw, because Aoki was going to beat it out once the double clutch occurred. There, stop, because they're trying to hurry. The ball does not necessarily go in, but it goes into the photographer's wall and then bounces back on the field, but that's an extra base. And that puts another runner in scoring position.
So as we expected, single RBI, E6. So the Royals making some noise. It all started with a walk.
A 4-pitch leadoff walk, which that in itself is unusual.
So 6-2. And here's Omar Infante. Infante is 0 for 2 tonight and 1 for 6 in the series. First pitch outside. Outfielder shade Infante toward right just a little bit. Moss well off the line and left. Callaspo trying to hold Aoki on. And that one hit high and foul into the luxury suite level here at Kauffman Stadium. Salvador Perez is the on-deck hitter. Grounded towards Sogard. He scoops it up. Throws quickly in time to get Infante with Aoki going to third. So 2 outs. And here's Perez.
Yeah, that's why sometimes not throwing the ball is better, because you keep the double play in order. Whether or not that would have been a double play, but they put a runner in scoring position, and that's all teams try to do. Find a way to get a runner in scoring position and a chance for a hitter to drive him home. In this case, with a 2-out hit.
Perez with a walk and a ground out so far tonight. rips this one high and foul, way out in front. Score of interest here in Kansas City. The Pirates are leading the Tigers again. It's 4-2 in the top of the 8th inning. Pitch again, launched deep and foul, and again into the upper deck.
Nice play.
And there was love. The young man right there in the first row.
And upper deck seats. I don't think I'll need to take my glove tonight because nothing's going to be head up here, but here it is. Nice play. Throw a backdoor cutter and freeze him because he's throwing 2 pitches inside that he's been out in front, but it's almost like pitches there's no way he could keep them in play fair because they were coming in on him.
He's just the happiest kid ever. One outside. Pitches for Lester, so he's thrown a fair amount of pitches tonight.
And remember the number 122 at his last start 5 days ago.
And a 1-2 pitch line down the left field line, and that is fair. And that's going to be another run for the Royals. Perez into second with a big 2-out double, and now it's 6-3.
Well, the curveball is not breaking as sharply as it was in the early part of the game, and Lester leaving the curveball really in a pretty good hitting zone. And excellent hitting by Perez to go down to get it. And this time he didn't hook it foul.
So RBI number 49.
So
and the Royals have scored 3.
And against a pitcher they have not had a lot of success against. These Royals, and of course the fans have to be feeling pretty good about themselves because nothing else, the pitch count getting up as high as it is, they figure it's going to be a bullpen game for the Athletics.
And here's Butler. And Butler rips one foul. So we are indeed going to get some action. See who it is. Stan Otero. Butler a fly to right and a strikeout so far. He had a big rip at a high fastball, and it's 0-2.
The hitters in this inning swing almost as if they know what's coming.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. Much more aggressive swings. So 0-2 to Butler. And that one runs off the plate inside.
I think a fastball could be taken on the inside like that. One that has some cutting action to it. You see it as a fastball and swing over it. But it has to be thrown hard so you don't take a chance of hanging it. Throwing it slowly like the one to Perez.
22nd pitch of the inning coming up. And it's rolled foul. There's Butler out in front, but was able to just get a piece of it. So after striking out the side in the 4th inning and really looking dominant, Lester, a little bit of a different story here in the 5th inning. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So a good pitch by Lester there. but he's walking off the mound not happy as the Royals close the gap. They score 3 times, so it's 6-3 after 5. Part of Sportsnet Central. It's at 10:30. David Feldman sits down with Jim and John Harbaugh for an in-depth interview. You don't want to miss that. It's on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area, and it's part of Sportsnet Central. So check it out. Tune in. Again, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. David Feldman talking with the Harbaugh brothers, Jim and John. It's pretty cool. 2 brothers, head coaches in the NFL. So 6-3, the A's lead the Royals top of the 6th inning. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts as the Royals go to the left-hander Bruce Chen. So Chen takes over here in the 6th inning. Aaron Crow pitched to 1 batter, and that was Reddick, and he retired him to end the 5th.
1 batter, 1 pitch, out of the game. Chen, former starter, so he could give Ned Yo some innings if necessary.
And you wonder too, Ray, if scoring 3 runs in that inning, maybe the strategy changes a little bit for Ned Yost. You got Caspu who's a switch hitter, but then after that you got Sogard and Fold and Jaso.
Yeah, you're right, because between Fold, Jaso, Moss, Vogt, Reddick, Sogard, it's a whole bunch of natural lefties.
So Bruce Chen, the veteran, now pitching out of the bullpen for the Royals. Chen has made 7 starts this year. Scott Downs was the odd man out in the Willingham transaction. Scott Downs, the veteran left-handed pitcher. And 2-2 pitch, a swing and a miss by Callaspo, and that's out number 1.
Chen working quickly, changes speeds, elevated the fastball, which Callaspo got. And I would think from the Royals standpoint, after scoring 3 and cutting the lead in half, I'd like to see a quick 1-2-3 inning, get back in the dugout and try to continue to go offensively against Lester and the A's.
So here's Sogard. Bunt attempt toward Infante, who barehands it, and that's a nice play. Sogard obviously a little harder than he wanted to, but still a nice play by Infante to barehand it.
Well, we've seen Sam Fold do it, especially with a left-hander falling off, as Chen does this time. Not as much, but just a little bit too hard, and a big hop to Infante, so he could barehand it. Actually had plenty of time to use his glove, but decided to go with the good hands.
Here is Sam Fuld, who's been an igniter tonight. He's been on base 3 times, scored twice. Falls behind 0-2. Slowly hit. He may have another hit, and he is going to, although I believe it's a foul ball. Yep. Home plate umpire came out and put his hand up, meaning foul ball.
You would think that maybe. I don't know if Moustakas was. But you're right. But this clearly, I didn't think it hit anything. It just fooled Sam Fuld. Perez is telling him don't throw.
So it's a hit.
Yeah.
Sam Fuld will take it. So here's Jaso. One the count. So 12th hit for the A's tonight. The Royals have 5.
7 of the A's 12 hits have come with 2 strikes. And 8 of them to the opposite field. Center field, opposite field. It's a great approach, especially against the right-hander Guthrie, and now trying to do the same against Chen. But I think you're right about Chen lefty coming in because of the situation and the number of lefties the A's have in the lineup.
Two and one the count. Squib toward the left side. Moustakas has it. He spins around. He throws in time. Nice play by Mike Moustakas. He had to cover a lot of ground going to his left. So the A's do not score as we head to the bottom of the 6th. '85 World Series, the Show Me Series between the Cardinals and the Royals. It went 7 games, and the Royals would win Game 7 behind Brent Saberhagen by a final score of 11-0. And that was their first and only World Series, and they won it right here in this ballpark. And the MVP was a very young Brent Saberhagen. So 1985.
Looked like Peter Ueberroth, didn't it?
So not only the last time they won, the only time they won the World Series, that was the last time they were in the postseason 28 years ago. And they're trying to break that stretch and get in this year. And right now they are the first place team in the AL Central. See if they can hang on. The Tigers are still losing to the Pirates 4-2. That game going to the 9th inning. With a broken bat, it's going to drop in for a base hit for Alex Gordon. So Lester, after throwing 23 pitches and giving up 3 runs in the 5th inning, he'll get right back into the stretch here in the 6th.
Gordon this time, after striking out a couple of times, similar pitches, but with a shift and a broken back, single to left center.
Dan Otero, who got up quickly last inning, he's up again, so it will not take him long to get himself loose. This is Willingham. Willingham takes a pitch just a bit inside. A double and a strikeout for Willingham in his first game as a member of the Kansas City Royals. Takes that one, and it's called a strike.
I think Willingham, coming over to Kansas City, realizes that they got him to hit. The outfield is taken care of, and whether it's a platoon between he and Ibanez, as you mentioned, Downs is on the disabled list, so open up a spot for him.
It's that one to Donaldson, backs up, gets a good hop out at second, to throw to first, and a nice double play turn by the Athletics.
Donaldson always seems to make the play at third to start the double play, but Cayespo, as we have said, a natural third baseman. Watch how quickly and how much he gets on this throw. I mean, he gets rid of it, but he has so much on a throw because of the strength of being a third baseman. Watch this. Perfect throw from Donaldson, chest high, and then the continuation on from Cayespo, and that's a tailor-made double play. Hard to do, especially around the horn. Hit hard enough, and Cayespo able to turn it perfectly. Willingham not blessed with a lot of speed.
So with 2 outs, here's Moustakas. 17th time that Lester has gotten a double play ground out. And now it's 2-0.
Hey, what? Moustakas on 4 pitches to start last inning, and here he is 2-0 in this at bat. Cannot and will not get Moustakas to swing at a pitch that's close, but out of the strike zone.
Big rip at the 2-0 pitch and fouled it back. Actually fouled it off of Norris.
Now watch Derek Norris' right shoulder, and Eric Cooper actually missed his shoulder, got him in the face. I thought it kind of ricocheted off the right shoulder. Right in the face mask.
And that's a good pitch right at the knees on the outside corner. Looks like Moustakas and Eric Cooper discussing that last call. Two pitch, breaking ball, swing and a miss. Then that is strikeout number 9 for Lester. And that'll do it for the Royals in the bottom of the 6th. We're headed to the 7th, 6-3, the A's lead. It's time for the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to CSNCA fan photo. Get your name and hometown down for a chance to be shown in one of our game broadcasts. It's all brought to you by AT&T. And our photo tonight comes from Cameron Whaley from San Diego. That looks like the park in Philadelphia. So the Phillies sign above his head on the scoreboard.
You know what that looked like? That looked like a selfie. With a selfie, and I got to set off just to the side so I can see the bullpen.
That's right. I think you're right. 99 pitches for John Lester. 9 strikeouts in 6 innings.
Cap, I think he'll go off for one more. At least one. Well, one more if it's 99 pitches coming off 122. And I think what he said when he faced the Twins, and we had that shot, Bob Melvin asked him, yeah, well, now maybe that's it. No, take that back. And he's upset because 6 innings for him, I'm sure, is disappointing. But a very good 6 innings, if that is the case. But it might have been a case of 122 in his last start when he went the distance.
I know some teams, and I think the A's probably do it. Don't they base kind of the pitchers, starting pitchers? They go off 3-game increments. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Amount of pitches thrown in 3 consecutive games.
And take the total and average over 3, and that's pretty much. And listen, the A's pretty much, you get to 110, you're not going to go beyond that. And coming off the 122, I'm sure that's exactly what they were thinking.
That one's driven to left center, high and deep. Kane is going back near the wall, and he leaps, and it bounces up and over, and that's a home run. 7-3, the A's lead on the home run by Donaldson.
Well, that is a big one. First one since Houston, 29th of July. So Josh Donaldson got into the 2-strike fastball again. Another 2-strike hit, and this one a big one. So Donaldson, the 8th 2-strike hit of the night. John Lester has got to be finished. He's going to have at least a 4-run lead, but JD with a huge home run to left center.
So here's Moss. So Donaldson with 3 RBIs tonight. Moss with 2. Double, single, single for Moss. So maybe this is the start of a hot stretch for Moss. He's really been struggling, but the big hit last night, and then he follows that up with 3 hits tonight.
And I think what we're seeing, Cap, is a little bit more relaxed Brandon Moss because he was grinding whenever he was having trouble hitting some fastballs, but he's going to swing through some of them. Sometimes he's going to take them like that, but kind of an off-speed pitch. Josh Donaldson always aggressive, as he does even with 2 strikes. And Chen, he unloaded. Chen was hopeful that his center fielder could jump up and get it. Donaldson thought he'd got enough. Probably most parts, not even a concern about a center fielder. But Kane, very good jumping ability. Just over the fence. Kane came close, able to get back and then go up, but the wall kind of stopped him. I don't think he was going to catch it anyway.
Kane will catch this one as he backs up a little bit. And that's the second out here in the 7th inning.
And that came close to Rex Hunter out in left center, didn't it? Trying to think about it. They're out there. Remember with the Phillies? It was their broadcaster, was broadcasting in left center, caught a home run.
I would say that was pretty close. Although, if it would have been really close, knowing Rex Hunter, he would have like dove for it and tried to catch it, and then tumbled onto the warning track, and then, well, you know.
See those TV monitors? Rex said he went out there where they were going to position before the game. He said, wow, that's a long way back to home plate. And he said, I'm going to need to monitor it. And he said, I can understand why there haven't been a lot of home runs hit here by the Royals, because it's a big yard.
Toward right center, but Aoki's going to get over there, and that'll do it. Donaldson with a home run, his 24th home run of the year. So the A's get their 7th run, and 7th inning stretch time from Kansas City, and it's 7-3 the A's lead. Guys, the A's leading 7-3 and trying to even up this series at a game apiece. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Ryan Cook comes in. Cook pitched the bottom of the 8th inning last night through 10 pitches. So he's going to work the bottom of the 7th inning tonight, and the A's again with a 4-run lead. Well, the Royals can look up and see that the Tigers lost again. The Pirates just finished the Tigers by a final score of 4-2. So the Tigers have now lost 4 in a row. So the Royals, whatever happens in this game, will remain in first place in the Central. So here's Lorenzo Cain leading it off. Cain had a double and a run scored in the 5th inning. That's when the Royals scored 3 times off Lester. Well, we're talking a lot about how well the Royals relievers are pitching. But let's not forget about Ryan Cook. In fact, he currently has the longest active scoreless streak in the majors, not just the American League. 19 consecutive scoreless innings for Ryan Cook, ahead of Davis and Herrera. And he has the form of how he was pitching in 2012 when he was an all-star.
Which was right here. That was Kansas City in 2012. Last year at Citi Field, New York. This year at Target Field. So maybe this mound he's very familiar with, because he pitched well in the All-Star game, pitching great that season to make the All-Star team.
And a slider, and Cain chased it way out of the strike zone. And that's the 10th strikeout for A's pitchers tonight.
And you see what Eric Cooper, the home plate umpire, he knew the ball hit the dirt. Nice play there, but in the dirt, he did not make the call until he turned around and saw Derek Norris tag Cain. Cain knew it, but Derek Norris, actually a nice scoop, but That's a home plate umpire not immediately calling a strikeout, because when the ball hits the ground on a swing, strike 3, you have to tag the runner or the hitter. Kane, of course, gave himself up by hitting back the dugout.
Here's Escobar, the 9th place hitter. Escobar with a ground out back to the pitcher and a sacrifice fly. He's got 3 RBIs in this series. Fouls that one back.
The thing about Ryan Cook, the way he pitches, of course, the nasty slider he threw to strike out Kane, but Ryan Cook has that heavy baseball. That ball that, as it approaches the plate, is thrown hard, and once it makes contact, it's like a thud. You know, it's not a crisp crack with the bat, and that is great for a pitcher, horrible for a hitter.
Aoki waits in the on-deck circle. Just a touch low, not much. 3-1. Driven toward right center, hit pretty well, but Fold is going to get over there, and Fold in front of Reddick has it for the second out. So that'll bring up Aoki, who has had a good night, 2 for 3, 2 singles, RBI, and a run score. Big swing at the first pitch, back to the screen. Aoki came over in a trade from the Milwaukee Brewers. The Royals needed a leadoff hitter. Had a couple of pretty good years with the Brewers.
But he's perfectly suited for this park because they don't hit a lot of home runs. They want the speed, covers the outfield. He can throw. Of course, infield hits galore. And that's his type right there. Just slap and run.
Played 8 years in Japan.
How about this protected swing? Puts the foot down and just slaps it. He's ready to run, but the ball was hitting the seats.
Cook's 0-2 pitch outside. The Orioles traded left-handed pitcher Will Smith. Will Smith has actually become a big part of the Brewers bullpen. Brewers having a terrific season. One-two pitch, and he bunts it foul, and that will do it. How about that? So give Cook a strikeout, he'll take it. And we're going to the 8th inning. It's 7-3. The A's lead. Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Prism. Now your team can collaborate at a whole new level with video walls from Prism. Learn how at prism.com. 7-3 the A's lead. It's the top of the 8th inning. Bruce Chen has thrown 2 innings and he's going to stay out there. They'll face Reddick, Callaspo, and Sogard. Curveball, a knuckler, and it ends up getting past Infante for a hit.
How about that? Wow. He's going after it with not a problem, and you're right, knuckleballs are tough to catch, whether you're a catcher or an infielder. And off the end of the bat, that's a gift, because Infante watch him go after it easy, and then whoop, back to his right. Thought you changed direction right there. What a great camera shot, watching the ball changing directions.
So hit number 14 for the A's. Callaspo lofts one to left. Gordon on the move. It's over his head. Up against the fence. Reddick to third. He'll stop there. Callaspo to second with a double.
Well, the former Royal coming through, and Callaspo, who struck out against Chen. Facing Chen, first batter for Chen, struck him out on 5 pitches. This time, though, jumps on the first one, and a little bit of a cut fastball in the wheelhouse, and even the Gold Glover couldn't get to it. So the A's again with runners at second and third. This time they did it without 2 strike hits.
So Sogard looking for his first hit, and he's got a chance to knock in some runs. Takes a strike on the outside corner, infield in. Center field, and that's going to get down for a hit. It's read well by Callaspo. The throw to the plate, airmails everybody, bangs off the backstop, and Sogard goes to second. He's got a 2-run single, and it's 9-3 the A's lead.
It's always a thing of beauty. In our vantage point, we can see where the ball is going, and more importantly, to see a runner at second base. Sogard, we've seen do it. Sogard hits it this time, but Callaspo, watch him read it perfectly. As soon as the ball is hit, he takes off, knowing how softly it's hit where Kane is playing. Kane should not have come close to even trying to throw, with no chance to get Callaspo, and he airmails everybody. Like Kiermaier from Tampa Bay, although this one might have been higher.
So still nobody out. And here's Sam Fuld, who has had a huge night. Been on base all 4 times. That one's hit well to right center. Kane is going to get back there, make the over-the-shoulder catch. That will allow Sogard to tag up and go to third. Well, everything going right offensively for the A's tonight. That's a productive out.
Absolutely, did a very good job. There's Fuld trying to pull the ball to the right side, but guy is giving him the high fives is Dan Otero, with Gregerson, who was up, and now it's Otero back up in the 8th inning. The A's have added at least a couple more.
Going to get a pinch hitter. Johnny Gomes is going to hit for Jaso. So Gomes, the pinch hitter. Ray, how much do you think a manager in this situation, and he may have pinch hit Johnny Gomes no matter what, but the fact that Johnny Gomes probably going to play tomorrow, Vargas a left-hander in there, and you would just like to get the guy in at bat the night before.
That's a great point, because there's a lot of truth to that, and I think that's what managers do, and Bob Melvin very good at it. Get the job done.
And indeed it is. Gordon sets up, but it looks like it's going to be deep enough. Sogard coming home, and he will score. So another productive out, and this one a sacrifice fly, and the A's have scored 3 times here in the 8th inning.
Johnny Gomes first pitch hitting, and He will be against Vargas tomorrow. Try to go inside, chin, little cutter, and Johnny was all over it. So in the DH role, Johnny Gomes steps in for Jaso. Jaso, a good night. A couple of hits. Now Johnny Gomes brings home a run.
Well, Donaldson and Moss have been the big stars tonight. Donaldson, a fielder's choice, and then an RBI single, a sacrifice fly, and a home run. And he belts this one to center. That's hit well. Kane going back, and that baby's gone. He's done it again. It's a 2-homer game for Donaldson, and it is officially a blowout here in Kansas City.
Third time this year hitting 2 home runs in a game. And this time crushed it. No chance for anybody to catch this one. Absolutely. Both of them off chin and got the leg kick and put a charge, crushed it. And he's going to watch this one. So is everybody else. .413 feet. Chad. He had that so quickly.
So 4 hits in this inning and 17 hits in the game for the A's, and they still got another inning.
Got the Astros, he got the Angels, and now he gets the Royals. Donaldson with 2 home run games.
Gordon on the move, still on the move, and Gordon dives and he cannot get it, and it's a foul ball. Gordon was playing over a bit toward left center, so he had a very long run. The shift was on, and Escobar, he had a long ways to go as well. Salvador Perez waits for his defenders to get back in their positions. The Phillies and the Angels are underway. No score in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Pretty good score for the A's to post for the Angels, who are starting a couple of hours later.
Swing by Moss. Well, I think it's probably the best case scenario from a day-to-day standpoint is if you have the lead in the division and you play before the team chasing you and you put up a win on the scoreboard. Moss flips on the left. He's got a hit. But quite an inning for the Athletics. That's 5 hits now. 3 singles, a double, a home run, also a sacrifice fly.
And another 2-strike hit, another opposite field 2-strike hit. And Donaldson or Moss after really coming through last night with a 2-run single. A very good night tonight. 4-hit night for Brandon Moss. Josh Hood's got those numbers up quickly. No more get them out of your mouth. You see them on the screen. It's good.
Aoki to his right. He's got it. And the inning comes to an end. Big damage done by the Athletics. They score 4 times. Donaldson with his 2nd home run in the ball game. He now has 25 home runs on the year. All A's tonight, 11-3 as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
All right, here's tonight's game summary. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Boy, the A's have been swinging it tonight. 11 runs, 18 hits, 1 error, and for the Royals, 3-6-1. John Lester just had trouble in 1 inning. Gave up all 3 of his runs in that 1 inning, but 9 strikeouts in his 6 innings. Donaldson, a 2-homer game. Guthrie got knocked around big time. And Josh Willingham, in his first appearance with the Royals, has a double. And the new pitcher is Dan Otero. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair expert. So Otero comes in 7-1 with a 2.45 ERA. So Cook keeps his scoreless streak going. He pitches a perfect 7th inning with a couple of strikeouts. This is Christian Colon hitting for Omar Infante. So Ned Yost is going to give his regular second baseman Infante a couple innings off anyways.
Well, and Ned Yost, of course, we had mentioned about from the Bay Area, but Ned Yost also coached for one of the newest Hall of Fame members. That is Bobby Cox. Coached for him in Atlanta for many years and for taking over the job managing in Milwaukee, and of course now here in Kansas City.
Right side Vogt grabs it right near the bag, steps on the bag, 1 away.
But Ned said, very excited to Bobby Cox went in the Hall of Fame, and he called his good friend Bobby Cox this morning to congratulate him. And he said, Bobby Cox told him, he said, you go to postseason. He said, I'm going to come here to watch you.
Nice.
I'm going to be in the stands watching you. And he said, I want to see you sweat as much as I did for all those years managing. So that's what a manager goes through. But Bobby Cox, the Hall of Fame, Ned Yost, his good friend. Of course, Ned wears the number 3, the late Dale Earnhardt, good friend of his, and the families we mentioned.
So what you're saying is that Bobby Cox, you get a little bit of an idea about the postseason.
Yeah, how about 14 consecutive divisions titles, 1 world championship, and a nice induction speech at Cooperstown, along with Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux.
Right, Ned Yost was there for a lot of that.
Yes, he was. Third base coach for Bobby Cox. Actually, bullpen coach, then moved to third base coach. Said he learned a lot under Bobby Cox, and well, why not? And I said to Ned, I said, you know, under the new arrangements of the replays, I said Bobby Cox might not have been ejected as many times as he was throughout his career. And Ned said, oh yeah, he would, because he argued balls and strikes better than anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's automatic ejection for that. So those aren't reviewable plays.
You could ask for the headset like Buck Showalter did the other night. I thought that was great.
Yeah. But Ned, a catcher, and he with 800+ wins. He got one last night. Bob Melvin hopes to hang on to get one tonight. So they're both over the 800 mark.
1-2 to the pinch hitter Eric Kratz. So Salvador Perez is done for the night as well. So Kratz will finish up behind the plate. A couple of scary injuries, Ray, in baseball yesterday. A little bit of clarification on the severity of those injuries. Otero off the mound, grabs it, throws to first. Well, join us tomorrow. The A's continue this 4-game set versus the Royals. It'll be Scott Kazmir, Jason Vargas, couple of lefties. Kazmir looking for his 14th win, and Vargas pitched against the A's in that series not long ago, and the A's roughed him up after he was good early in the game. So coverage begins at 4:30 with A's pregame live. There's Butler who takes a strike. Justin Verlander had an MRI on his sore shoulder, no structural damage, and figure he may miss a start, but it did not look like he was going to go on the disabled list. That's certainly good news for the Tigers.
Yeah, I think Brad Ausmus has to be extremely happy with the result. And Verlander himself said he was little bit concerned about having an MRI, as he has usually been healthy throughout his career.
Just off Donaldson's glove, and it rolls into shallow left field. So Billy Butler will have a base hit. Donaldson ranged a long ways to his left. He just reached out right at the last minute and just went off his glove.
Donaldson tried so hard. If he comes up with it, might have thrown out the slow-footed Butler, but the ball carried away from him.
So we're going to get another pinch hitter. It's going to be Raul Ibanez hitting for Alex Gordon. Also Manny Machado, who went down in the batter's box after swinging, and that was kind of scary. He had an MRI today on his right knee. It's a sprained ligament in his knee. And because the Orioles and the Yankees got rained out tonight, that was really all the information that we found out. There was no timetable on how long he would be out, but probably best case scenario was just the sprained ligament. It was kind of an ugly deal. His knee kind of buckled. Vogt on the dive. He's got it. Gets up, flips to Otero. Side retired. So hitting a runner left, and we're moving to the 9th inning from Kansas City. The A's with an 11-3 lead.
Oktoberfest with the A's Saturday, September the 20th versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Oktoberfest style beers will be available throughout the ballpark, and 10,000 fans will receive an A's Oktoberfest Stein courtesy of Cache Creek Casino Resort. In addition, fans may purchase a special ticket to attend a Brewmaster meet and greet that includes a commemorative Oktoberfest ceramic Stein. For tickets, visit athletics.com/Oktoberfest. A's had a Bill Stein. No, Mariners did.
Billy Stein?
Billy Stein.
He was a White Sox, too, wasn't he? Bill Stein.
Mariners, yeah.
Ibanez stays in the game in left. As Chen faces Stephen Vogt. Vogt did not. Christian Colon stays in the game at second. And Eric Kratz stays in the game at catcher. Shift is on for Vogt. It's a high pop-up, long run for Escobar. Shift was on, still going over, and he cannot quite get it. So the shift helps Stephen Vogt there.
Now, you have to run that far near the shortstop, and then you get close to the side, and you realize you're not at the Coliseum with all the foul territory, which I think he might have caught one or two there. Cat, remember the 2012 when Escobar was playing short. Seth Smith hit the routine ground ball in the 9th inning. Big Roxy pitching, and he hustled. Escobar heard his throw, made an error, and the A's had the walk-off hit batter with Johnny Gomes.
It's a long time ago, but I do faintly remember that.
But you know, same thing happened tonight. Rushed his throw with Sam Fold. Ends up, Sam gets a 2-base error, and the A's scored 2 that inning.
Belted to right field. Aoki going back near the wall, and he leaps up and he makes the catch right in front of the out-of-town scoreboard. Vogt hit that ball well, and Vogt's he's really hit 3 balls well in the last 2 nights to deep right field.
I don't know that the fans really thought Aoki caught the ball. There was some talk about a late reaction, and he went up against the scoreboard. It fell down, and I don't think the fans thought he actually caught it, but he did. Braced himself, hit the ground, and in about 5 seconds the fans realized it and they cheered it. That's a little strange. That's a nice catch. How's our man doing?
There's our old friend Richard Puglia from Comcast Sportsnet.
What do you think he's texting or emailing or looking at?
He's looking at that picture he took before the game and saying, man, I look good. Look how good I look. I can't stop looking at myself. Couple of hits for Reddick tonight. A's have 18 hits. See, this is Richard Puglia before the game. Now he's by himself. Let's make sure we know that. So he takes a picture of himself. The guy behind him's like, what is he doing?
But you know, now that I think about it, why someone else wouldn't take the picture? He's dressed in Oakland A's t-shirt, cap.
A little bit of the Lone Ranger in that section.
Yeah, so you ask a Royals fan, hey, can you take my picture? No.
Cologne with a nice play, throws, Reddick hustling, and he beat it out. Good hustle by Reddick.
Like to see that, because Reddick always runs hard, especially when the shift, he hits the ball in the outfield. Cap, you said it before, if you play in the outfield, you better hurry, get rid of the ball. Cologne took a little bit extra time, thinking he had. And it's a hustle base hit against the shift. And he is thinking right there, get to the bag, and he couldn't be happy to see Tom Hallion throw up the safe side.
I think once the infielder, if he's playing out there, if he has to move 2 or 3 steps to his right or left, you got a pretty good chance of getting base hit.
Absolutely.
And Cologne, who made a nice play, but it's a really, really long throw. So a season high 19 hits tonight for the Athletics. And a season high 20 hits tonight for the Athletics as Callaspo lines a single to the left. So he's 2 for 5.
Well, it might as well keep it going, because it's thinking about the pitchers, Kazmir and Samardzija to follow, and you know the old saying about, well, save some for me. But I think if I were a pitcher, I'd say thank you, offense, keep it going and continue tomorrow night and Thursday, and just keep it going every day that you're playing.
So here is Sogard. So we always say this when the team has a big offensive night, and certainly 20 hits is a big offensive night. There's always that one guy. Yeah. And unfortunately tonight, that one guy is Derek Norris.
That's right. Hey, but he's catching a winner.
Derek Norris is 0 for 5.
Well, Mom and Dad are here too, and so I'm sure he's thinking about that. But I think from his standpoint, he knows his job is to catch. It started against a couple of right-handers in this series.
On the ground to the shortstop, Escobar steps on second, throws to first, and that's a double play. So a couple of hits for the A's, but they do not score. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Richard Puglia and the Athletics leading 11-3.
Brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
Oh, good for the A's tonight. They lead 11-3, a season-high 20 hits. And when we get that many runs and hits, Steve Vucinich usually comes down to the dugout.
Oh, there he is.
Well,
good observation.
Likes to be in that winning dugout. Did not see him last night. Final score, Royals 3, A's 2. Oh, man. How can you tease the Godfather? He can take it.
Better.
Willingham rolls it foul. So Otero, second inning of work, trying to wrap this one up. Two to Willingham, 1 for 3. Strike 3 called. Good pitch right on the outside corner.
Here's tonight's Honda Player of the Game. How about third time this season doing this? Going yard twice. Both time against the lefty Bruce Chen. This one just over the reach of Kane, but this second one, and no doubt, you got the Crickets in the background. You got Josh Donaldson going deep, and he's got some pretty good numbers on the season for the Athletics, and hitting the long ball, that gives him 25. And tonight, a whole bunch of runs batted in as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 25 and 84. Not a bad season with a few games remaining.
Well, Donaldson, so that's a that's a career high. He had 24 home runs last year, 25 home runs now this year. So I say career high. He obviously has not been around all that
long enough,
but an improvement over last year.
And you know, seriously, you think about him and how things have changed for him since 2012 when he was simply trying to make the club as a backup catcher. He's got Sizemore gets hurt, and here he is, a third baseman, a power third baseman, which is exactly what you want, that position to hit the long ball. He has done plenty of that. An outstanding third base. And you know, you look at this game with the Royals scoring 3 in the 5th inning. They were 6-3 and 1-2-3 inning. All of a sudden they're back in the field, and Donaldson started the 5-4-3 double play with Lester. Lester ended up getting out of the inning, and that kind of set the A's going to score more runs.
So that's out number 2 here in the 9th inning. Another number of note tonight. The A's pitchers have struck out 12. So 2 outs. So Lorenzo Cain to face Otero, and he bounces it off his foot, and it got him pretty good. Cain is 1 for 3 with a double and 2 strikeouts. He doubled and scored in that 5th inning.
Let's see, where did it hit him? Back foot. How about that? See that often.
Otero goes outside with a fastball. 1-1 the count. Casimir and Vargas tomorrow night. Coverage starts at 4:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet California. So make sure you join us for that. A's with 43 games left after tonight. One-two pitch, bounce to Donaldson, backs up, straightens up, fires to first in time, and that's your ball game. So the A's come out swinging tonight here in Kansas City, and boy, the offense comes to life big time. A season high 20 hits, Moss with a big night, 4 hits, a couple of RBIs. Donaldson, a couple of home runs, 4 RBIs. And Lester gets the win. Final score tonight, the Athletics 11 and the Kansas City Royals 3. You've been watching A's Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Brody, Bip, and Joe starts right now.